Chapter 2, NORA. We need another human plague, I state because it's fucking true. There are just too many people in this world. The front of my car is inches from the piece of shit station wagon in front of me. I want to slam into the back of it for making me late to work, but doing that would mean I have to put down my cigarette, and if I don't smoke this cigarette, I will lose my shit in this traffic. Nora, you have to stop saying stuff like that. You're gonna get canceled before you even get famous, Ryan whispers through my phone speaker. I slam the back of my head against the headrest. The leather wrapping my steering wheel pleads for me to stop digging my nails into it, but I can't help it. I've never been late to work a day in my life, and I refuse to let that streak end today. Well, tell me it's not true, I whine into my phone. There are too many people in this world, too many nobodies. The palm of my hand meets the horn, adding to the orchestra of horns on this busy street. I swear, every person in this entire world is in a car on this fucking street, and they're keeping me from getting to work on time, and I'm not happy about it, and You're freaking out over nothing. Ryan's tone is soft but stern. You've never been late, and you're the best showrunner at Mendax. You'll survive. I let out a quick breath, then take a calming drag of my cigarette. Ryan has been my assistant for most of my 5 years at Mendax Productions. Since we first met, he's known exactly how to put my cluttered mind at ease. I check my reflection in the rearview mirror as if my appearance might have changed since I last looked a minute ago. Okay, I sigh. How far are you from the studio? He asks. 20 minutes. I anxiously lower the air conditioner, raise it, then lower it again. With Mendax being the highest ranked television network in the country, being late could cost me my career. Since day one of being an intern doing coffee runs for middle-aged perverts, I've had a perfect track record. I worked my way up to being a showrunner, and I do a damn good job for a woman who hasn't fucked a studio executive like most of the other women who work in entertainment. My time in the limelight will come, and I would rather it come without me having to spread my legs. Regardless of my shows being among the best Mendax runs, our overall television ratings have plummeted. With streaming apps and podcasts taking over the entertainment industry, hardly anybody watches cable networks anymore. Money follows eyes, and the world's eyes are on random internet bullshit instead of the shows we're producing. Simply put, I'm slipping when I should be at the height of my career. I exhale a cloud of smoke through my half-open window. Buildings border the jam-packed street, reaching for the sky which has turned to the lightest shade of gray. In a mere second, the world around me is stripped of every color but yellow and dark red when I finally see what's causing cars to stop. To the right of the road, a mangled body has molded itself to the sidewalk pavement. The human corpse is nearly flattened to a thin layer of flesh and bone, streams of blood flowing through the cracks and divots in the pavement like overlapping rivers on a map. Bright yellow caution tape borders the morbid scene, extending to the sidewalk's edge. No matter how hard I try, it becomes impossible for me to look away from the body. Fascination envelopes my mind, butterflies manifesting themselves in my core. To think that at one point today, the remains of this body held life, and now it's mere flesh and bone. This is real. This is art. Fuck, I mutter under my breath. Nora? I hear Ryan's voice through my speaker. The world has slowed to a stop. It's not until I see a nearby crowd fighting for a chance to see what happened that I realize traffic has finally loosened up. I apply more pressure to the pedal, looking forward again, not knowing how much time has passed since I stopped. Nora! Ryan's voice reaches me this time. Nora, why'd you say fuck? I flick my cigarette out the window as I pick up speed. All this traffic is because people wanted to get a better look at a dead body. You just saw a dead body? Just saw it right now, I reply, returning from my trance. That was pretty fucked up. Seeing a dead body does sound pretty fucked up. No, not that, I retort coolly. It's fucked up that I'm late for work because people can't mind their own damn business. Put time on my calendar for a human plague brainstorm meeting. Fuck, Nora. You can be cold sometimes. Ryan laughs. Just get over here. Be there soon. I hang up the phone and ruffle through the pile of trash in the passenger seat for another cigarette. I turn up the music, roll down the windows, and sing to the song with newfound energy. I've been fascinated by death since I was young, the way it looms over us humans, shrouded in myth, legend, and fear. It's the greatest unknown. It's beyond comprehension. The smartest cannot outsmart it. The fastest cannot outrun it. The strongest cannot defeat it. Death transcends all boundaries and refrains from showing mercy to a single soul. It has an agenda, a responsibility to uphold. Death decides when a life has been lived, regardless of whether or not it's been lived to the fullest. This might sound crazy, but I actually owe death for my success. considering the way I portray death is what my viewers love the most about my shows. I found ways to weave my fascination with death into my productions, and I want to be known for depicting death in its truest form on television because death is art. I want to highlight it, romanticize it, give it the respect it deserves. When I arrive, I quietly slip through the lobby doors. Within seconds, the elevator is lifting me to the 66th floor. I feel the anxiety seeping through my pores the moment I see the illuminated sign that reads Mendax above the 66 white buttons. The elevator rises. 2, 3, 4. The inside of the elevator reflects the interior of the entire building. Glossy black walls reflecting the dimmed fluorescent lights shining from above. I catch my reflection in the mirror to my right, admiring my straight black hair cut sharply above my exposed collarbones. My black blazer is low cut, tailored to accentuate my body frame down to the bottom of my black slacks and heels. There's no denying that I look fucking amazing. I always do. I just can't stand the thought of looking this good, only to be recognized as late. The elevator continues to rise. 35, 36, 37. Eyes, chin, shoulders, I remind myself. I fix my gaze on the steel elevator doors, lift my chin, and move my shoulders back, exposing my chest. Confidence manifests within as I remind myself that today is a new day presenting new ways to build my legacy. I started at the bottom of Mendax, and after years of alphabetizing folders, planning meetings, and stroking the egos of men who offer roles to women they're either related to or sleeping with, I managed to work my way up to where I am now. It's only a matter of time before I make it on the big screen. The elevator slows. 64, 65, 66. The doors separate, and I cautiously make my way up the hall. A pit forms in my stomach at the thought of running into a studio executive, so I mute my footsteps the best I can. In entertainment, people who aren't already at the top are easily disposable. One slip-up is all it takes to be thrown back out on the streets, where I would be offering up my soul for the next opportunity the way I offered mine for this one. When I reach the black marble desk at the end of the hall, the secretary doesn't notice me, per usual. Normally, not being noticed drives me mad, but given the circumstances, not being noticed is all I can hope for this morning. My phone suddenly vibrates in my hand, and I look down to see a text from Ryan. Ryan's text reads, Conference Room C. I peek down one of the long halls, then continue upon seeing it empty. I keep my head down. If I can manage to slip into this conference room unnoticed, I'm golden. My eyes fixate on the flooring I step over, tracing the white veins in contrast with the black marble as I tiptoe past the conference room, one after another. Room A, Room B, Room C. I silently open the door, step in, and shut it. I let out a sigh of relief, and then find it hard to breathe when I turn to see a man sitting at the head of the table who isn't Ryan. The man is accompanied by a chilling aura that sends shivers down my spine. His eyes are the darkest shade of brown, so dark they could be black against his pale skin. His face is wrinkled and long, drooping into a saggy neck and narrow body. Time has not been kind to his complexion. You must be Nora, the man says. I must be in the wrong room. Yes, I'm sorry, I think I'm in the wrong room. Nope, the man replies calmly. He crosses one leg over another, and his yellow-toothed grin spreads across his wrinkled face. Please, sit. His black eyes follow me as I reluctantly lower myself into one of the empty seats. I'm Samuel Roth. My heart plummets from my chest into my stomach at the sound of his name. This man is more than just a man. He's the king behind the screen, the pay-per-view prophet, the owner and founder of Mendax. Samuel fucking Roth. As the man who owns the most powerful TV network in the country, Samuel has managed to go unnoticed for the entirety of his career. Not a single picture of his face on the internet, not a single word spoken to the press. An entire career, and a successful one at that, gone undetected and unnoticed. The people around the studio have shared myths about Samuel. Still, none of their unsettling descriptions of him compare to seeing him in the flesh. As much as I want to ask why he's gone his entire career lurking in the shadows of the entertainment industry, Samuel's presence begs a more important question. Why has he chosen to reveal himself now? You're my showrunner, Samuel states, dragging his eyes up and down my body. His voice is omnipresent. It fills the room, replacing air. I no longer breathe oxygen. I breathe Samuel's influence. Yes, I'm one of them, I murmur. You're my showrunner, Samuel states again. I meant what I said. He lifts a wiry finger in my direction. You're my only showrunner. I'm confused, I reply. I'm not your only showrunner. I'm One of quite a few, actually. The corner of his thin lips curls up. As of this morning, you're my only showrunner. I pinch my eyebrows together, confused at his remark. Was it me who fell off that building earlier? Did I die on the way to work and end up in heaven? If being late gets me promoted the way it seems to have, then I'll be late more often. Is this some sort of promotion? I ask. Consider it a lifeline that can turn into a promotion if you use it right. Samuel laughs under his breath. It's no secret that Mendax's overall membership has nearly collapsed. The competing networks remind the world of that every damn day. But the viewership of your shows, they have somehow remained stable, and I think I know why. He slowly leans forward, his movements similar to a snake preparing to strike. The characters in your story you create have a common thread. You explore a darker side of nature in every show you've run, and with your viewership remaining steady while the other shows dropped, I think what you explore can be tapped into even more. He releases me from his gaze, checking his phone. So I got rid of the other showrunners and I kept you. A part of me is relieved while another part of me is frightened to discover what all of this means. With the other Mendax showrunners being let go, will I need to run their shows on top of my own? Samuel sets his phone down, waiting for my response. He appears fascinated by the fact that I'm more concerned than I am excited. Mendax has always topped the charts of every television genre, he explains. We've been the best across the board, but we're hurting, and I think it's because we're not focused. I find myself nodding, absorbing the words as if I need them to live. I've spoken with the network investors, and we agree it's time to trim the fat. It's time for Mendax to cancel all running shows and pour all of our efforts into one. We need one brand new TV series that will capture the eyes of millions and keep them. Mr. Roth, My legs force me up to my feet before I even decide to stand. I'm honored. I offer him my hand. I won't let you down. Call me Samuel. Samuel stands. His shadow casts itself over me as he stands well over 6 feet. When his large hand envelopes mine, his frozen grip causes my blood to run cold. There's such a lack of warmth in his skin that I question whether or not this man is actually living. I know you won't let me down. Regardless, I plan to be around more. I'll remain behind the scenes, but you and I will work closely on weaving our narrative through the show that you create. Our narrative? I ask as he releases my hand. Samuel ignores my question, silently gliding out of the room. The moment he leaves, I feel the warmth return to my body. I fall back into a chair, letting out a deep breath. I rub my palms over my eyes, feeling the weight of this morning lift itself from my shoulders. Nora, I'm so sorry, a familiar voice says from the doorway. I open my eyes to see Ryan walking in with his hands raised. I had no idea Roth was coming in. He came looking for you and made me text you to meet. What happened? It's fine, I exhale. We're fine. He runs his fingers back through his dirty blonde hair while taking the seat next to me. He subtly leans forward and places a hand on the table just inches away from mine. His hazel eyes are gentle, sympathetic. Do you want to talk about earlier? The meeting? I meant what happened on your way here. Seeing that dead body, the one on the side of the road. After meeting with Samuel, it takes me a moment to remember why I was even late in the first place. My mind is pulled back to what was left of the person who jumped off that building. The flattened skull, the blood-soaked hair forming a web over the pavement. I hadn't put much thought into the spectacle since seeing it. Oh, that? I shrug, forcing back my grin. That was nothing. I spend the entire day in my office, burning through one ridiculous show idea after another. By 8 p.m., my trash can is overflowing with decent show concepts, but none are good enough. I've always gone morbid with my scripts, some too dark to even see the light of day, but it seems like Samuel is looking for something so morbid that it will change the way people see the world, the way they live life. He didn't give me much direction besides wanting to focus on one single show based on the darker side of human nature. Frustrated and craving a cigarette, I pry myself from my desk and decide to head home. It's about an hour's drive to the Bronx around this time. I add 5 minutes to the trip when I realize I need to pick up another pack of cigarettes. As I finish my last, I pull into a gas station. It's not the nicest part of town, so I lock my car before getting out, wrapping myself in my coat to hide the shape of my body as I walk into the gas station store. I work hard for this body. The last thing I want is for a man to think he has the right to it without my consent. The night sky is replaced by blinding fluorescent lights as I step through the sliding doors. I stand in line behind a curly-headed man speaking to the cashier. His trench coat is weathered, his briefcase beaten and worn. He says goodbye to the cashier, and when he turns, we collide. "Jeez," I hiss, watching him drop the Kit Kat bar he just bought. "Watch it." "Sorry about that," he says while bending down to pick up the bar. Our eyes meet as the man stands straight, and I wince at the scar along the left side of his face. It runs from his left eyebrow halfway down his cheek, the rest hidden by the stubble on his face. He notices me staring. After a respectful nod, he walks out the sliding doors. I shiver at the thought of having to live with a scarred face like that. Growing up in sole pursuit of fame, my life is devoted to my image. My image is my everything. Before I know it, I'm out the door with a lit cigarette between my lips. "Damn it!" I shout when I see my car keys sitting on the driver's seat. "Nora, you fucking idiot!" I yank at my door handle. It doesn't budge. First I was late this morning, now I'm locked out of my car. What next? "Locked yourself out, huh?" The cigarette nearly falls out of my mouth when I see the man with the scar in my window's reflection. My eyes refocus, and I see my pepper spray in my passenger seat. Of course. "I have a gun," I lie without turning to face him. I remove the cig from my lips, prepared to burn him with it if he gets close. The scarred man nods. "Is the gun locked in the car with the keys?" I let out a defeated sigh, finally facing him. "What do you want? My money?" I offer him my purse. "Take it. The cops will be on your ass in no time." He takes a step toward me. I leap out of the way, but he just continues to my car door. Without saying a word, he rummages through his briefcase until he pulls out 2 lockpicks. "What's your name?" he asks calmly. I narrow my eyes, watching him break into my car right in front of me. "Nora." "I'm Joseph," Joseph replies, kneeling in front of the door. He continues picking the lock. "So what do you do, Nora?" "I'm a showrunner." He replies, unimpressed. "For Mendax Productions," I boast between cigarette puffs. Joseph keeps his eyes on the lock. "Never heard of it. Then you must not watch TV," I snap. "You're right about that." I pause a moment, then blow smoke over my shoulder. "What do you do, besides pick locks? Are you some kind of criminal?" Joseph stops picking the lock, sighs, then continues picking. "I'm not a criminal, but I represent them. I'm a lawyer." "Ah, is that how you learn to pick locks?" He laughs. "If I'm gonna represent criminals, I need to know how they commit their crimes, right?" "Good point." I lift my chin, taking in my surroundings. A neon hue casts itself across the empty parking lot. The night sky is starless, leaving my mind with nowhere else to go but Joe. "Do people call you Joe?" "Nope. Joseph," he says. "Even your wife calls you Joseph?" "She used to." "Before she divorced you?" The words leave my mouth before I realize how rude I'm being. Joseph shoots me a half glance. "Before she died," he corrects me. I exhale a deep breath, feeling a sliver of sympathy for this guy. Before I can say another word, he undoes the lock and opens my car door. He stands and faces me. "You can shoot me with your gun now." I hate how nice this guy is. I'm sorry for being a bitch. I'm under a lot of pressure at work. Joseph raises his palms. "We all got problems." He steps around me and heads for the bus stop. "Have a nice night, Nora." I suck in a deep breath, then exhale. "You too, Joseph." My drive home is a silent mixture of thoughts revolving around my meeting with Samuel. I see his black eyes. I see his crooked grin. I see Mendax. I see the opportunity of a lifetime to reach an unfathomable level of fame, to build a legacy that will continue to live long after my own life. This is my chance to make my mark on the world, but I can't come up with a show idea for the life of me. Samuel's words echo throughout my mind. "Pour all of your efforts into one brand new TV series that will capture the eyes of millions and keep them." How am I supposed to capture millions of eyes and keep them? It's one thing to get people to watch, and it's another to keep them engaged, yearning for the next episode. The show needs to be cutting edge. It needs to disrupt the industry. It needs to entertain the crowd and keep them entertained. Keep them from looking away. As I drive past the exact spot I witnessed a dead body this morning, I'm overcome by the urge to pull over. I park beside the curb, and the second I'm immersed in silence, a whisper slips through the crack of my window. My eyes lock on the dry droplets of blood that have stained the pavement. I step onto the sidewalk where the body once lay, and I curiously open myself up to hear the whisper. It's ever so faint, the message delivered in an ethereal form. All of those cars slowing to a halt this morning just to see the dead body along the side of the road. The whisper floods my mind with its influence, encouraging me to replay the scene over and over and over again as I stand over death's most recent masterpiece. I smile when the whisper finally plants the show idea in my mind. It's morbid, it's dark, and it's hard to look away.